In today's video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use Photoshop to remove the background of any photo. So this might be a good background for this video tutorial, but perhaps I want to use this image for a headshot or a business card or any other marketing pieces that I want to put online. It can be really helpful to remove the current background and add anything else, whether it be a gradient, a different color, or just a plain white or black background. I'm going to show you how to do that in Photoshop. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with Photoshop. So we have Photoshop open. We're going to go over here to the left to create new. And like I said, this is going to be really easy. There are so many things that you can do with Photoshop, but I'm just going to go through a quick basic background removal. So we're going to choose this custom 7x5 and then create. Okay, so this is your Photoshop basically canvas, and you're gonna grab the photo that you want to edit and you'll just pop it right there on top. So it's got this X across the middle. You're gonna have to press this check mark up at the top area right here to place it. All right, so now over here on your layers, you've got Photoshop photo that you wanna edit and the background. So what we wanna do is unlock that background, and then we want to add another layer right here next to the trash can. So we'll add that layer and we'll remove this layer. So delete this layer. Why? Because we want our layer behind the photo to be transparent. We don't want there to be a solid white or black behind it because we're going to add our own layer to that. So we just want it to be transparent. So now we can go ahead and start editing this photo. But first we have to select it, and then this pop-up is going to show up, and it's going to ask you to rasterize the small object. Press OK, and now you are able to edit your photo. All right, so on your left hand side over here, you're going to have this quick selection tool that has like a little paintbrush and these dotted lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that to take out the bigger portions of our background. And what you'll see is these lines, it's kind of like a little line of ants around the area that I chose. And that's just me clicking on an area and dragging it. So let's see if we can get a bigger area. All right, so as you can see, it kind of went all the way around me, all the way to the bottom. So it's selected. That means this area is selected. Okay, and if I press on a Mac, you would do Command X. On a PC, you would do Control X. So I'm going to do Command X, and it takes out that portion. So that part of my editing is already done, which is why if you do want to add your own background, it's probably best to shoot your photo on a blank canvas to begin with. Yes, I have stuff behind me as well, and it will work when you have items or artwork or anything behind you, but it'll just be easier in the long run if you shoot it on a blank canvas. So let's go ahead and do that on the left side. Again, I still have the paintbrush quick selection tool selected, and I'm just going to press down and move it around and see how much of it can select. All right, so the little line of ants, like I said, goes all the way down around my top over to this vase and the plant, and it's going to come around this photo right here. So like I said, I'm going to press Command X, and that part will come out. And now we'll try it with this plant over here and see how much we can get. So it looks like it's going to cut out the whole plant, the rest of that wall. And Command X. Now let's see how much of this cabinet we can take out. So you're going to come across issues like this, where the selection tool will end up selecting part of you or part of the subject, and you'll have to press Command Z to go back and maybe try again. Nope, it just keeps selecting it. And sometimes that will happen, but you didn't have to worry about the rest of this. So when this does happen, you're going to change your option over to the eraser tool, and you're just going to erase that area. But see, a lot of times people end up using this eraser tool to erase everything around them, and they don't have to. You can use the quick selection tool to take out pieces of your photo, and then you just use the eraser tool for the little spots that are left over. So what I do is I select a color over here on this left-hand side, like a dark color or something where a light color like the lines that are left over will show up. So we're going to select the rectangle tool right here, and we're just going to give ourselves a backdrop just for editing purposes. So see, it covered me. But see here on this layer X section, we've got the rectangle. We want it to go under the photo. So we're going to bring it down, and there we are. So it's under the photo. And now I can really see all these lines that were left over when I used the quick selection tool. So this is where we go back to the eraser. Remember to have your photo selected because that's what you're going to be editing. If I chose rectangle, it wouldn't let me edit it. If I chose layer and I started erasing, I'm not erasing anything. I'm erasing the background. So what I want to erase is part of the photo. So we'll use the eraser tool to start erasing some of those sections. Now you can adjust the eraser tool up here on the top left corner. You can choose how big it gets, you can choose how hard it gets, the opacity of it, whether you want to create kind of like blurry lines. So for instance, I would make it less hard if I wanted to create kind of a blurry line around myself so it's not super harsh. But for these little mistakes that we're just cleaning up, I'm going to do a little harder. So see, you can see it's deleting, or excuse me, erasing all those things that the quick selection tool could not. All right, we're gonna go up there. Okay. All right, so I've got most everything erased. So I have plain straight hair. So yes, it is easy to edit around that. But again, this is where your eraser will come in. If you want to make it a little smaller to get those little details, maybe bring the hardness down to about 50. Now let's go ahead and go in and fix those little spots around my hair. Just make it a little more even. And now it doesn't look as harsh. See how it's just kind of blurring out those edges. And this is where a steady hand can really come in handy. Okay, so we're just taking out a few of those little lines. Whoops. So I took out too much. I'm going to do Command Z, and it's going to go back to the last time I pressed down on my mouse. Took out too much. At this point, if you want to be able to see yourself better, you can go ahead and come over here on the layers and delete that layer. Now I can see better and I can see the transparent background. So now you can see yourself better. So if I want to come over here and start softening up some of these edges, not making them so harsh. Okay, we'll soften up a little bit of my hair over here. So this would work really well if you have, you know, curly hair and you just want to soften it so it doesn't look as harsh with these lines. And see, it's not going to be perfect, and that's fine because we're just trying to do this kind of quickly and not spend all of our time doing this. All right, so that looks pretty good. I got all of the background away. It's just me. So in a similar way that I added the foreground so that I can see all the lines that I still needed to erase, I can add a background. I can choose, you know, say I want this green color right here. Press OK. Gonna do select the rectangle tool. Bring it all the way around behind me. And there we go. So there I am with a different background. So let's say you are using this, for a listing presentation, as mentioned before, and you want to add a background to it. So once you've made sure that you've deleted or erased any extra lines or any extra areas that need to be deleted, you can add a photo. This is just one of the many backgrounds we offer for our HARTV videos. You just pop it in, and you'll see that it allows you to resize it, move it around before you press the check mark up here to place it. Once it's placed, over here in our layers, we can move it, and now it's behind our photo. So let's go ahead and delete this green layer because we're done with it. We just wanted it so that we could see the other layers. Let's rasterize this layer so that we can edit it as well. And let's go ahead and select the arrows up here, the move tool, and we can move, our photo layer. So we can move it off to the side, and let's add some kind of drop shadow. So you will right click on the layer over here and choose blending options. And on the left, you'll choose drop shadow, and you can see there's already like a dark drop shadow added there. Let's go ahead and move the drop shadow over to the other side. So that would be with this angle right here. That allows you to choose. And you can choose how opaque the drop shadow is. You can choose it to be a little softer. You can change the color of the drop shadow. You can choose how far out it goes. So we're gonna just keep it right around 50, just so it's obvious that the photo of us is separated from the photo of the listing. So let's press OK, and that's done. Now, let's say we want to show this in a listing presentation, or we're going to post this photo on social media to show that, this listing is available and we are ready to show it to our clients. So you choose the text tool on the left-hand side right here, and you can start typing. Say just listed. Okay, let's highlight it so that we can change some colors. Let's make it white, and we can change let's change the font and the size. Let's make it really big. There we go. Again, you choose your move tool. You move it right there. So that's how you would remove the background from a photo that you have. As you saw, I was sitting in front of a cabinet and a plant, and I had a picture frame behind me. But by taking these quick steps in Photoshop that I just showed you, you can remove the background, add some drop shadow, add some text, and add possibly a listing photo, or even if you just want to add a plain white background and add some text. You can use that for any type of marketing pieces on social media, on flyers, on your website. So it can be a really great tool when you don't have the exact background that you want. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you have any questions or comments or requests for future tutorials, please leave a comment below and subscribe to our YouTube channel to see new tutorials uploaded every week.